Hi, ladies and gentlemen, Morino Ravenberg here. I am going to share some thoughts with you. I think this video is going to be a short one on laws and the notion of morality. Okay, and sometimes you encounter situations or you see within popular pop media, for example, that this topic just comes afloat. Okay, this topic is being addressed either in a direct or indirect way, and you're asking yourself or you're wondering sometimes when you see, for example, I'm just going to give an example. I saw a sitcom, okay, in which a cop didn't arrest a man that stole something from a supermarket, I think a can of soup, because he was poor and his family was broke and whatnot. They lived in some kind of rundown tool shed or shack, and he had children and everything, okay. And that cop, obviously his heart went soft and he didn't arrest him for the sake of morality. That's just an example. And fact, not just my opinion, fact on this is that it's wrong, period. The law is the law, regardless of how you twist or how you try to turn it. Morality does not overrule law, okay. I'm not saying that sometimes laws, every now and then there is some kind of legal loophole in a global law or in a region or in a country's law based system, in a country's judicial system, where you don't go at it like where your reaction is, no, that's not right. I don't know who came up with that law, but that's not right. But regardless of how you want to phrase it, the law is the law, okay. So by that logic, let's just say if I'm broke, I have a family, I have a wife and 2 children, and we're completely broke, we're living below the poverty line. What such a message states is that basically the moral thing to do is to just steal to provide for my family. If I'm homeless, I don't have a job and I'm unable to land a job for some reason, that makes it okay to go into a supermarket and steal necessities, steal tomato soup and steal bread and everything just to provide for my family. Does that make it okay? The abundant and God almost shouting answer is fucking no. It does not matter, okay? That's your problem. You shouldn't turn your burdens into society's, okay? I'm not saying that I never give someone a break or something like that, but that is my problem then. If I was an officer, that's on my head, okay? If the department finds out, the police department, they're more than welcome to fire me. I'm sorry, they're more than welcome to fire me and to relieve me of my position, okay? To take away my badge and everything. But my point, ladies and gentlemen, is that the law is the law, regardless of how you turn it, okay? Just basically if an officer excuses someone from some kind of crime for the sake of morality, like in the example I just mentioned, that is wrong regardless of how you turn it, okay? We live in a society of laws that's being held together by laws. Okay, if everybody does that, okay, every cop just basically says, hey, just give them a break, or the entire judicial system gives everybody a break. The entire judicial system of a country says, you know what, we're going to look the other way because it's the moral and the right and the just thing to do. These people are so horrendously poor that they can't even afford to feed themselves, so we're just going to look the other way when they steal something from a store. What do you think is going to happen? Anarchy. All hell is going to break loose because people are going to start looting supermarkets and they're going to use it as an excuse. The poor are going to use it as an excuse to steal anything. Oh, I can't provide for my family, okay, because I'm dead broke. I don't have a job. I'm unable to land a job because I've got some kind of disability. I'm in a wheelchair. So I'll just steal something from a supermarket. What shall I steal today? I need bread. I need milk for the children, for my baby. And so I'll just steal. Okay, beggars are going to do that too, okay? Because that's the same logic, right? Okay, so the guy's a beggar, he's living on the side of the street. You pity him because he's homeless, blah, 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 and the whole cockamamie sob story. And, and he just steals, basically. And the police isn't going to touch him or arrest him because it's the moral thing to do. Why? Because he's homeless. That poor man, let him steal something. I hardly doubt that the owner of a supermarket or any kind of store which has been victim to something like that will share the same opinion and say, okay, here, take what you want. You're dead broke. So I don't mind. It's the moral thing to do. No. Period. Regardless of whether something is moral or immoral, the law is the law, okay? Sometimes the law might be unpopular because the majority might not agree with it even, or some significant or some popular individuals might not agree with it. A law might be unpopular, but the law is the law, okay? Similar to going to work, for example, working for a company which basically demands from you that you wake up at 4 a.m. for whatever reason, okay? You're supposed to show up at work at 5 a.m. So you're supposed to be there at 5 a.m. That means that you have to wake up in the dead of night to go to work, to prepare for work and hop under the shower and wear your clothes and go to work. It might be unpopular. I hardly doubt that there are going to be a lot of people that are going to be for that decision, you know, waking up in the dead of night and heading to work. That's my example, okay? That rule might be unpopular, but it is a rule of the company. If you don't like it, okay, either resign or don't work there. End of story. But you can moan and groan all you want. That law stands firm, okay? That rule stands firm. In the same way, a society's laws might at some times be incorrect or even or even unpopular or even immoral, okay? Depending on the situation. It depends on the situation by each individual or by each situation, according to each situation or each individual. But the law has to be enforced, period. A law has to be enforced. It must be enforced. Period. It doesn't matter how you twist or turn it, okay? There's a difference between law and there's a difference between morality. Another example that I'm going to highlight is that I read an article, for example, on the whole crisis that Canada is having with basically so-called refugees from the United States, people that basically are fleeing Trump's rule. These are people that are afraid of being deported, like Haitians, people from Haiti, that were protected by, I think, the temporary thingy act. I forgot what that act is called. It's basically a law under Obama's administration that grants them some kind of temporary protection status. I think it's called TPS or something. That's what it's called, temporary protection status. So it basically safeguards them from being deported. But with Trump's rule, these people are still safe, okay? That law, last time I checked, was still in effect. But these people are so afraid that Trump might literally repeal the law or literally have that law undone, whatsoever, that bill or that act or whatever, that they're literally fleeing, okay? They're fleeing it unjustly, okay? Because they're not in any danger. That's like being afraid of being arrested when you don't have a driver's license, of driving illegally. You've got a driver's license, so you don't have to worry about operating a car illegally or unjustly. But these people are still fleeing because they're afraid of Trump. They're literally afraid of Trump and his whole anti-immigration policy and his attitude, okay? His disdain for migrants and refugees. So they basically flee the border to Canada because they misinterpreted Justin Trudeau's message. Justin Trudeau, the PM of the Prime Minister of Canada, tweeted that Canada welcomes everybody, diversity is our strength regardless of where you're from. That doesn't automatically buy you a fucking ticket into Canada. That's my point, okay? These people are so stupid. These parasites, they're not human beings, okay? They're fucking parasites. They're so stupid, okay? I'm already seeing myself showing up at the border. You're an illegal there. You're not entitled or eligible for entering Canada. I mean, seriously, they're basically trying to abuse the whole refugee system, or the whole point of the whole notion of applying for asylum via the refugee program. They're trying to abuse that whole system, okay? They're not a refugee. A refugee is someone that flees a war-torn country. You're not a refugee. And that's my example, okay? I mean, and I read an article by some Haitian guy that was hopelessly biased. I don't know where I read it. It was a good while ago, in which he said, and I quote, the Canadian government or the Canadian Immigration Council, the Canadian Immigration Department they basically have a moral duty or a moral obligation to accept these Haitians that are fleeing Trump's anti-migration attitude or anti-refugee attitude. And you see, God, this just screams of 1,000 things wrong with it. Newsflash, the Immigration Council of Canada isn't morally obligated to do shit. They're not morally obligated to do anything, okay? Morality does not even come into question here, okay? The fact that Trump is basically ruling in the US, he's the US's president and he is against migrants, might be tough luck for you, but newsflash, that's not Canada's problem. That's like saying that your house burned down and we're neighbors and your fucking house burned down, and I, because that happened to you, have some kind of moral obligation to take you in and to help you out until you're back on your feet. Newsflash, I don't have to do shit. It's your house that burned down. There's nothing wrong with being selfish, even if people think I'm selfish. That's not my problem. You need to find a way to cope or to deal with your situation that you've got going there, that your house burned down. Okay? But don't turn your problems into my problems. That's what I'm saying. There are exceptional cases, but that's the rule in general. Okay? So, obviously, again, that's another example. Okay? The Canadian Immigration Consulate or the Canadian Immigration Council doesn't owe anybody any fucking thing, morally or otherwise. Okay, if you want to move, if you want to migrate to Canada, then do so the normal and legal way via their rules and regulations and policies. But don't try to abuse the system like the worthless parasite that you are, like the worthless stupid parasite that you are, and then basically complain when Canada basically shows you the door. When Canada says, no, fuck off, you're not welcome here, and you don't apply for asylum because you're not a refugee. And then moan and groan and basically state that they have some kind of moral obligation. No, nobody is obligated to anything, and morality does not come into question here. That's why laws and rules were created and are enforced to begin with. Without laws and rules and regulations, it would be a total shit show. The world will look like a scene from Mad Max or some kind of dystopian society. The law is the law, whether it's popular or not. If I steal something, I'm a criminal. I did something, I committed some kind of criminal offense. I committed a felony, okay? I committed a crime and I should be punished for it in accordance with society's laws, on paper, written laws. End of story. It doesn't matter how you twist or turn it, okay? It doesn't matter whether I'm such a good guy, whether I donate blood to everybody at the local Red Cross. It doesn't matter whether I have given money to several charities. It does not matter, even if I were the fucking Dalai Lama himself, okay? The law is the law. If the fucking Dalai Lama steals something, okay? If the fucking Pope steals something, he's a criminal and he should be trialed. End of story.